their whole birth of that chapter in the Fleetwood Mac history started in '75, and then of course after the Fleetwood Mac album, Rumors came out shortly thereafter. So they just had this massive stardom quickly, and with that came cocaine, lots of that. And so there's a lot of information that I looked up on their little habit they had, which turned into a really big one. And Stevie really, they had to do intervention on her later on in the years to come, after many years of cocaine and alcohol and taking pills. So Fleetwood Mac singer Stevie Nicks was so addicted to cocaine and alcohol and Quaaludes that she blacked out and nearly overdosed repeatedly. I'm just reading a few things off this internet here. To avoid body searches, this is interesting. To avoid the body searches so they could have the cocaine and the drugs on board with them during their European tours, they hired Hitler's private rail car that Hitler once used back in World War II, and rail car that was complete with the elderly attendant who served Hitler on that same rail car. So they were on this rail car to avoid drug searches going through the different countries. Yeah, they went to a lot of trouble to stay on board with their little habit. And even I read also that Mick had a vial, if you will, a large vial that was designed to go right on his drum set, so he wouldn't even have to leave his drum set. It was just right there, and he'd do some and go back to drumming, or do it in between the songs or during the song. So it just was right there. So it was a massive part of their life and the rock star lives and the jet sets and all that. And what comes up must come down at some point. And her torrid love affair with Mick, who was married at the time, Stevie was with Lindsay for many years, and then she hooked up with Mick, and she says to this day that was a lot of it was the drugs, and they just had this insane romance on and off stage for a couple of years. She also liked the Eagles, and I'm not talking about the bird, I'm talking about the Eagles band. Joe Walsh and Don Henley, she was busy with both of those boys. And Joe Walsh, she says to this day, was the love of her life, and really the only one out of her entire life that she wanted to marry. And he finally left. He walked out the door at the point finally, because they were going to end up dying together, doing so much cocaine and being in that rock star life. So he walked out the door, and she has been quoted to say that was like the most painful thing for her, because she really loved him and wanted it to work out. But he made the decision, hey man, gotta go. We're going to both kill each other if we keep doing this. So, but there are just so many interesting facts about, up until when she was in the British American rock band Fleetwood Mac, writing songs and singing with her longtime sweetheart Lindsey Buckingham. She hadn't indulged in drugs until she really became part of the Fleetwood Mac, and then the shit hit the fan, and it just became over time just insane. She had bought $1 million worth of cocaine at one point and burned a hole through her nose, and the size of a dime. And the rumors had spread that she had to have the drug blown out her derriere by an assistant to actually be able to take cocaine at that point. And she said at one point, there was no way to get off the white horse, and I didn't want to. And now she's 72. She's alive and made it. And good on her, Stevie. Way to go to beat that. But it took intervention by her band, and her parents got involved, and she checked herself into Betty Ford Clinic. And she's been clean for many, many years since then. But I'm going to put her on my One Day page, because if you haven't seen my website, fuckittoday.com on YouTube, there's a page called One Day, and I dedicate that to sobriety and addiction. And I don't know why I didn't think about that till today, that she should be on the survivor side of that. I have a whole section on, anybody can get caught in it, and I have a whole list of celebrities that have died, but there's also a lot of celebrities that kicked it and made it, and can be in that lifestyle and live happy, healthy lives. So I'm going to put her on that part of that page, because she's alive and kicking to this day. Good job, Stevie. So yeah, thank you for joining me on this little tiny segment of Fleetwood Mac. I might even do a second part of this podcast because they're so fascinating. And just remember, don't stop thinking about tomorrow. We've got some good things that are going to come out of all this planet being upside down. We're gonna make it through on the other side, and we're gonna be better for it as a human race. So stay on that positive train, you guys, and I'll see you on the backside, not the dark side.